Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted that so many of you could make it today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shintia Khoirunnisa. I am a student at Universitas Negeri Semarang. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is the influence of body weight on respiration rate in crickets. Okay, let's move on the next slide. What is interesting in this topic? Respiration is a process carried out by organism in producing energy. The energy generated from the respiration process is needed by the body to carry out all life activities. Metabolic rate can be determined by measuring the amount of oxygen consumed by organism per unit of time. Respiration rate can be determined by measuring the amount of oxygen that enters the body of a living being in time. This happens because the oxidation of food requires oxygen. The gas exchange process must be proven through observation. Respirometer is a tool that can be used to observe and measure the process of breathing. The respirometer will measure how much oxygen the body needs. Let's move on to objective. This research was conducted to see the metabolic rates in animal insect class, especially crickets, and determine the respiratory process of animals and the factor that can affect the amount of oxygen needed by animals when breathing per unit time, as well as to determine the volume of breathing air in crickets. The research was conducted using 3 crickets with different body size. Furthermore, the potassium hydroxide crystals are wrapped in cotton and put into a respirometer tube. Each cricket was experimentally carried out by inserting it into a respirometer tube that already contained potassium hydroxide crystal. The respirometer tube is closed with a respirometer capillary tube until it is tight. Vaseline is also used in the connection between the tube and the nozzle to ensure that no air can enter or exit. The eosine drip is carried out at the end of the pipe and observes the movement of eosine in the pipe. Eosine movement data were recorded at time intervals every 5 minutes for 15 minutes. The movement of eosine show the amount of air the insect breathes in a predetermined unit of time. Repeat the treatment for each sample, then record each eosine movement data. From the observation data, it can be seen that the crickets that have the largest body size require more oxygen in their respiration than other smaller crickets. In the sample of cricket 1, which has the smallest body size, an average respiratory rate of 0.0267 milli per minute. In the sample of cricket 2, which had a moderate body size, had an average respiratory rate of 0.0293 milli per minute. In the sample of cricket 3, which had the largest body size, had an average respiratory rate of 0.06 milli per minute. They use potassium hydroxide serve as a carbon dioxide binder so that organisms do not breathe in gases other than oxygen, such as carbon dioxide, which is released as metabolic waste after breathing. In addition, potassium hydroxide is used to ensure that the movement of eosine is really only caused by oxygen consumption. If there is no use of potassium hydroxide, the air pressure will decrease and the partial pressure of the gas in the respirometer will remain, so that eosine cannot move. As a result, the volume of oxygen that the insect inhale cannot be measured. Meanwhile, the purpose of using Vaseline on respirometer is that the air inside the tube cannot escape and the outside air cannot enter through the gaps between the mouth of the tube and the cover, so that eosine can move because the air passes through the scale glass pipe. From the observation and previous research from Adalah University and Siliwangi University, it can be concluded that the factors that can affect respiration include 1. Body weight. The heavier the body of an organism, the more oxygen it needs and the faster the respiratory process. 2. Body size. The bigger the body size, the more oxygen needs. 3. Oxygen levels. If the oxygen level is low, the frequency of respiration will increase and compensation to increase oxygen uptake. And 4. Activities. Living things that carry out activities require energy. So, the higher the activity, the more energy it needs, so that the respiratory rate will be faster. Based on the result of observation and treatments that have been carried out, it is concluded that there is a difference in the amount of oxygen consumption in the respiration of several samples that have different body weights. Respiration rate is directly proportional to the body weight of the organism. That is, the heavier the cricket's body, the more oxygen it needs, so that the faster it's breathing. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.